Hi there. Thanks for joining us today. We thought it'd take some time out to have a different type of video, but we do think it's an important message that we'd like to discuss with everybody. Recently, the short version is a company called Artesian Builds is a boutique PC builder out of the US, and just overnight they went out of business, right? And being Dreamcore is a similar type of industry, but in Singapore, we still feel there's some value in understanding what happened. Now, we're big fans of Gamers Nexus, even though once again, we're in Singapore. They do awesome work. The recent video really struck us in what happened. And we thought getting a very good perspective from the CEO of Dreamcore, Mr. Shaun Tan, and how he runs this business and the challenges he's faced. So the customers of Dreamcore, current customers, future customers, can really see what goes on here. So, Shaun, thanks for taking some time, buddy, to answer some questions. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks, JD.
So let's go with the first one. And I think this is, before we get to the Artesian stuff, let's just talk a mission statement. I think that's important for every company to have the mission that customers can see what they are trying to achieve. So what's Dreamcore's mission statement, currently?
So Dreamcore always existed to be a trusted technology partner for everyone. Whether you're a gamer, whether you're a creator, whether you're just an everyday user who needs a PC for work from home users, right? So we don't really pigeonhole ourselves into a particular segment. We're not just a gaming company. We're not just an enterprise company. What really drives us is our mission to give users the best available technology, and what's more important, to be transparent, trustworthy, and honest about what we sell to our customers and what goes into our builds.
So I guess the question would follow up with the mission statement, like the core principles that you have, like you went with from the employees or when you're talking to your employees, versus what are some of the core principles that you like to make sure the customers understand that how Dreamcore works? How do those fit into your day-to-day?
What really drives me and what the vision for my company was, was when people took the products that we create to go on and do something even better. So we want to enable and empower our users, our customers, to go forth and really do everything that they dream of, right? So whether they're a content creator and they're creating animation and graphics and stuff, or whether they're a streamer playing games, we want them to rely on the technology that we provide. So that is the product that we sell. And what goes into the product is our care, honest pricing, transparency. We don't cut corners anywhere. So this is really a cornerstone of how we craft our products for our customers and even for our employees internally. So when you talk about our Dream Center, we launched a new 10,000 square foot Dream Center. The way it's set up is to really create an open environment for both employees and customers to interact with each other. You will see, the way we have set it up, we have a massive glass panel where customers can literally walk in and see behind the scenes on how the PCs are being built. We're not shy to show them everything that we do here at Dreamcore.
I guess we can start hitting some of the Artesian stuff. So obviously, I know you watched the Gamers Nexus video of it,
Yep.
And then I watched it as well. And then I called you and was like, hey, this is maybe a good time for Dreamcore to talk about how they treat their customers. I mean, some of the stuff that caught me off guard was just seeing that the RMA system sitting there, and the person's never going to get their data back. Hopefully they were using cloud storage and their files are saved somewhere else, but now your system's just in a warehouse at the moment and you can't even get it back. So what are your takeaway when you first saw that video and some of the stuff that happened there, right?
Whoa, yeah. I think it was a crazy video. And I think if Gamers Nexus didn't come out and do the expose, a lot of the things that happened would still be untold till today. The scary part about the expose was actually that our business was very similar. And I think most custom PC businesses are quite similar to Artesian. Even down to the basic things like, they're using Monday.com for status tracking. That's something we use. The process flow, they invested in a new warehouse, a high-tech facility to create these PCs. So that is very similar to what Dreamcore has done in the last year, right? We've moved to a new facility, we've invested in technology. We're using Monday.com and a whole bunch of other software as a service to help our business run. So when you compare the two businesses together, it's eerily similar, and I think personally I can kind of see where things went south and can kind of understand why the CEO did certain things that he did. But I think it just boiled down to probably some greed and poor, financial management.
Brought up a key point, the overall management of it. I guess from your perspective, like what are some of the big challenges from this day-to-day management? And you could actually break that in two. We had the whole COVID, and countries lasted longer. That was just a nightmare, right? And then you also have day-to-day, what's the challenges, the growth, the message. How do you kind of balance those things when you're making your decisions for this business, the customers and the employees?
It's a big question.
It's a good one, though. I mean, COVID screwed us all, right? But now it's kind of post-COVID. So has things changed a bit in the way you view the business? Because that could always come back, right?
I think for Dreamcore, in terms of business post-COVID, we've definitely seen a drop. And, we managed that by having good finances. We managed that by keeping our production lean. And I think, back to the Artesian issues, Gamers Nexus did show their revenue from a couple of years back. I think it was like 1 or 2 mil. And then when they hit COVID period, it ramped up to like $20 million.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big misconceptions about our PC industry is that, $20 million in revenue means these guys are rich or they're, rolling in cash, but it really doesn't mean that, because everyone knows that PC business or tech business in general, margins are extremely tight, extremely slim. There is a huge inventory cost to think about, aging stock, there's of course employee payroll and all sorts of things. But when the orders are made and the bunch of money comes in first before the company builds the PCs, they literally do have 20 million in cash in their bank accounts. And I think this is the portion where it gets a bit tricky, when the CEO decides to spend money on marketing instead of fulfilling orders, or maybe he can't even get stock, then this is where the poor financial management comes in. So I think for us, it's always about keeping things lean, not keeping a huge ton of inventory. If you can do certain things back to back. Marketing is another portion where money can go out very, very quickly. Influencers, your streamers, your giveaways. These things cost huge amounts of money, and sometimes they don't have ROI. When you talk about what Artesian did, giveaways and stuff, these things do cost money, and sometimes if you don't get the ROI from that, you are basically throwing your money away.
You always see the giveaways and people like, hey, I'm getting something free. And when you're not in a business mindset, that it is never the word free doesn't exist. It comes somewhere, some money somewhere. Yeah. It's always balancing, trying to give a PC to the influencer, but also if you're going to give away, sometimes it's nice to make sure that it goes to people who truly need it. Right, as well. And that was some of the conversation you and I had about. It's hard to not do giveaways, but make sure that the giveaways are providing not just value to the business, but the person who gets them at the end of the day.
Yeah,
right?
So I think it was a really shitty move for the Artesian CEO to sort of pull back the giveaway from that one streamer because they haven't contributed to Artesian's company, or they don't have enough followers. I think that was a pretty shitty move. Because I think the streamer did win fair and square, right? And then they pulled it back.
Changing the rules midway through, I think that wasn't the end. I think that was just one piece of all the pieces finally creating the perfect storm of the business.
The expose and
all of it. And it's ultimately just sad. Now, I think everybody stepped up to really help out getting that other streamer, per PC and stuff like that.
The company is built on the community. Right, on the customer base. And even though it's his company, technically, it's my company, but the people who made me successful are my customers, are my employees, and we definitely cannot forego, taking care of these guys. To backtrack, when Dreamcore first started, I started in my basement, not my basement, my bedroom. I just bought components and I put them together and I sell them. This business model is effective because technically there's no loss in money or anything, because the customer pays for it first. It's net positive income right from the get-go. But as you begin to scale your company by investing in big warehouses, in a new swanky office, in having employees. Now you have overheads, massive overheads. You have to take care of your, in Singapore at least, we have to take care of our employee CPF. We have to always think on the financial ramifications of any project that we undertake, whether it's a giveaway, whether it's investing in new space. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to lose the employees that you have trained and invested in, and you also don't want to lose your customers.
Yeah. I mean, if we rewind, maybe a lot of people in the audience, you actually built one of my systems for me back when you were at your house like years ago, because I was like, I don't have time. Can you just build this for me, dude? I was busy with something else. But that was, it's been really good to see how the business has grown. And I think the goal of this really, if we're going to leave some final thoughts here, really was, let you finish up the thoughts here. But the point of this was really just to go back and let the customers know what's going on, how you've been running things, because I'm sure there is somebody in Singapore who has either thought about or wanted to buy a PC recently, and they've seen what happened, and next thing you know, like, oh, maybe I'm going to just go with one of the more preferred top vendors out there versus going with a boutique build. And this maybe will help let them know that you're still care for them and you're still there, not just one bad person soured the pot, right? So what are your kind of final thoughts with things like this?
It's a good point, because I mean this ties in nicely with what went down in Artesian, because the whole thing about they had the East Coast business and the West Coast business, and I think it was the West Coast business that wasn't pulling their weight, right?
In terms of the numbers? Yeah.
Right? And the CEO was focused very much on live streaming and being an influencer himself. So this definitely helped Artesian get up to a 20 million revenue, because people saw the live streams, they saw the marketing stuff that went in. And this is the point that I want to bring up, because there are many companies out there, right? And sometimes it's difficult for the consumer to really understand which company is the better one in terms of the product and services they offer, because there's a layer of marketing that is thrown in front. And with people like Artesian, when they do heavy marketing, heavy influencer giveaways, all they show is this, we're the best, we're the greatest, we're the most in trend. People tend to follow them, but it does not necessarily mean the products and services are the best. So you could already tell from the Artesian video, things like cable management was piss poor.
Well, then the East Coast cleaned it up.
Yeah.
So at least it left to the customer in a good state.
Yeah. QC had issues, or they weren't telling the truth in terms of like the amount of graphics card they had, or they were buying, or they were scamming PayPal basically to get free money by saying they didn't receive the graphics card. So when you have a company that may not have the strongest fundamentals in terms of customer, putting the customer first, and they layer on a whole bunch of marketing, it's easy for customers to get lost. And I think that's a sort of a similar position that Dreamcore is in a sense, because we prioritize our customers' builds, our products and service way over what we do in marketing. And so sometimes we do get lost in lost in the crowd.
Well, to even be fair on that point, I think even this YouTube video, the amount of YouTube content created is very small. The numbers are very small, and that's something we want to work on this year, definitely. But also I think at the other places where the social media is, I know there's a lot more with TikTok and Instagram, we do better at. Right? So we all have improvement areas. So some people who see this video is like, oh, Dreamcore, there's only a couple thousand subscribers. They're not doing stuff. And it's in reality, it's like, can you be everywhere all the time? It's impossible. But I do think we do feel, YouTube is an area we're going to try to do more in, but it has to be good quality content as well, not just something that's out there. So
so I think for us, the priority has always been customers first. Employees are also in that band, because we want to make sure that they're taken care of. If you guys are in Singapore and you come by the showroom, you will see employee welfare is good. We have a pantry area, a really nice pantry area. We have a leisure area for our guys to wind down, play an Xbox or whatever. So we've really structured the office and the workplace to have a good work-life balance. And we spend a lot of effort in making great products, testing our PCs before they go out. So a lot of the times, the things that you don't really see in terms of marketing are done behind the scenes to ensure, things like Artesian doesn't happen. So I think that's just my 2 cents.
Thanks for taking the time. I know you're super busy being a CEO, unless you want to go buy a yacht or something.
That's a...
Look, I think we have great content planned and really appreciate everybody watching. And we look forward to either current customers, new customers, or just people want to discuss, stop by, say hi, check out your PC before we build it. So anything else, Shaun?
Let me think.
I'm good.
No.
That's it. Cool. Thanks.
See you guys.